From the top rope, this is the Squared Circus.
Square! Ah! That's the occult phenomenon.
You know what I think?
Recording in progress.
I realize I like paint.
That was a botch. Hold on.
So, anyway, that's how it's gonna go.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Forbidden Door, hopefully quickly. Oop, I just bonked the mic. Too many whiskeys. I don't know. I'm gonna start off with not the biggest match on the card, but just something personally that I want to see more of was Zack Sabre Jr. Did you watch that match at all?
Yes, actually.
I loved that match.
Yes, that was a good match.
It might have been the most fun match of the night. You could argue that the Danielson match and the Omega Ospreay match were, quote unquote better, but this was, I think, the most fun.
It was also the most sleeper one. I don't think people was prepared to be as good as it was.
Yeah, but I loved it. And I just want to see Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. I want Zack Sabre Jr. to be the next international champion. I wanted it to be Jay White when he first came in, because they need to highlight his legitimacy more. He is a big deal and they're not making a big enough deal of him. But God, I love Zack Sabre Jr. That match will be awesome. And when he wins the belt, it will be cool. And I would like to see more of him.
They have to get someone like him to take the belt off of Cassidy anyway.
Yeah.
Because now they put it into a position where it's going to be, you have to make the right choice. Because so far, Cassidy hasn't got old. He still gets the crowd. So you're in a thin line of who you take the belt off of. Yeah,
and for the amount of wins that he has, it's too big of a deal when he loses. He can't lose the belt to. I'm actually shocked how long of a run he had, to be honest with you. I know, but it's kind of great. It is kind of great because he still gets the cheers, but I'm still in shock. Anyway, go ahead. There was a bunch of I love El Phantasmo. He was on the pre-show with Stu Grayson. I would like to see him. Those guys are both great, but the match was okay. Takagi, I think, was on the pre-show too, which I don't remember the whole match, but he's so good. And Takahashi and Takagi are big stars. Why they weren't able to work them into the main card? I don't know. I mean, we talked about this briefly in the last one. I feel like Punk versus Kojima, it was a good match, but I felt like Kojima was chosen because they didn't want somebody that the crowd could cheer for against Punk. Yeah. Otherwise, Takagi would have been great there, but the match was still really good. I'd say Takahashi, just those two guys, they're just so great. I don't know. I would like to have seen more of them. Part of it, was it MJF versus Tanahashi? And again, Tanahashi is he's great in his way, but he's kind of more like a Sting, He's an old guard guy who's kind of slow now and can't do the things he used to be able to do, but still makes it work. And because he's got that legitimacy and that history, putting him in a match with MJF kind of makes it feel big, but I feel like it could have been a bigger match with a Takagi in there. So I don't know. I mean, it's just people are over the moon about this show, and I really enjoyed it. But maybe that's why I'm trying to be a little bit more cynical. What could they have done better? What else was there? Sonata versus Jungle Boy was another one. It was okay. Everybody knew Jungle Boy's heel turn was coming. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like his promos will be better, but maybe they'll reunite him with Luchasaurus.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
he's
like
just such
I,
a baby
I,
face.
I like how Christian's like holding the belts anyway. That's a side note, but like I like the fact that like we don't see that Luchasaurus is going to turn and become face again because he's going to be tired of Christian. But that's just
Oh,
a
right.
side note of But yeah, Taz's face was funny too when Jungle Boy was going out against Hook. Did you see like
Oh,
Taz's
yeah.
face? Yeah, he was like. He's like, that's your boy. Like you could tell, like he was actually getting pissed, and I don't think he knew because he actually looked legitimately like pissed.
That's great. I didn't notice.
Yeah. What was the
It was.
The
It's
next one?
also. It was kind of interesting. Like when we got to, I'm just going all over the place. When we got to Danielson versus Okada, I kind of felt like Danielson has to win. I thought he might anyway. It's just I don't know why I felt like the right thing to do, but like in most of these matches, I felt like the New Japan guys got a lot of the like push, you know.
Well,
Osprey beat Omega, Sonata beat Jungle Boy.
to be fair, the last one, all the AEW guys won. So
What
they
was the
probably
last
did it where the first Forbidden, the
Oh, did
very
it?
first one.
I don't
Most of
remember.
most of the AEW people won. So I think that's why this time around it's almost like okay, now we're gonna push the so because I remember a lot of people saying that like oh all the AEW people got pushed in this Forbidden Door thing, and so I think that's why they made it where all the Japan people got pushed more on this one.
Okay.
So that makes sense that they did that.
Yeah.
Because someone has to win from both parts, and obviously both of them. I do believe that the new Forbidden Door should be in Japan. That'd be huge.
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't know why that didn't even
Yeah,
occur to me.
yeah. That would be huge if they have the next one there.
Like overall, I went into this kind of like, this doesn't feel as big as it should be, but like obviously Danielson versus Okada and Omega versus Osprey were both huge matches that everybody was excited for, including
Brian
me.
got hurt too, by the way.
I know.
He'll be out like I think what like 9 months they said, or I don't know if it's 9 months or 9 weeks or something like that.
And I guess Cole got hurt before this because we were supposed to have Adam Cole versus Filthy Tom Lawler.
Oh,
and that match just got pulled.
Man, that motherfucker gets hurt all the time.
I know. And they were just building him back up.
I know. He gets fucking hurt all the time.
Between him and Danielson, they must have had so much TV time dedicated to these guys going forward that they have to change now.
Mm.
I mean, those guys were putting so much behind the two of them, and now they're both hurt.
Yeah.
I think that was one thing. Like there were a couple of matches. Sting, Darby Allin, Naito versus the Jericho, what they call it, Suzuki Gods, which was a really awkward ending. The Danielson match was a little bit of an awkward ending, but I guess that's because he was hurt.
Yeah.
So you didn't have that you didn't have the natural momentum where it ends and everybody goes crazy, because it kind of slowed down for a while before it ended. But I wonder, because they canceled the Cole versus Lawler match, and the show still ended pretty much at 9 o'clock on the dot. So I'm guessing that they just filled the time by lengthening other matches. How much that might have killed the natural momentum of those matches as they were originally planned out.
Yeah.
And why they didn't just book a replacement. I wanted to see Lawler. I haven't seen him much. I don't really watch a lot of New Japan, or especially New Japan Strong. It would have been cool to see him. Then the poor guy misses his shot.
But it also might have helped them if they lengthened some of the matches. Where because sometimes a match needs to be a little bit longer to really get invested in it. So it might have helped some of the matches as well.
That's possible. AEW usually doesn't suffer from having matches that are too short.
That's true. That's true. They do.
It was a weird call to me.
they're terrible at fucking time management because they'll have a match that's like 40 minutes long and they're like, fuck, now we have to shorten one match for like 10 minutes just because we made this one the whole entire show of the first match. So
I just thought that was a weird call. They should have either give Cole a promo or give them both the promo, put him, I don't know. They could have done something or put Roddy Strong in as a replacement so Lawler still gets his match or somebody. I don't know. One more match wouldn't have hurt it. And it doesn't seem fair to Lawler. And, one of the complaints about WWE is that they're always changing things at the last minute and always makes things feel clunky. So I think that's like, why change things? Why change all these other matches?
Yeah,
just put a sub in there, give them another match, whatever. If people don't want to see it, it's a bathroom break, at worst. And honestly, we need them. There's no intermissions in these things. I need
yeah, it's true.
10 minutes to like make popcorn or something in like a 5-6 hour thing. I need to go to the bathroom. I need a break somewhere. It's cool that they just went right from one match to the other. And it was cool that they had like a short intro to each match, just like it was like a minute, maybe 2 minutes, where there's like a little video package. I like that. And like, I need to walk the fucking dog too. Like, come on. I don't know.
that's because like they try to cram everything into like a fucking 6-7 hour event now. I mean, fuck, WrestleMania is on 2 different days now.
Yeah,
because it's so goddamn long, and because they have so many people. So I get it, and the people there. I mean, I'm sure they'll have their favorites and not favorites. Where they're like, okay, well, this match I don't have to watch because I could care less about them. You know what I'm saying? So that they all have like different spots. Because some people might not like Athena, and they'll be like, that Athena match. They'll be like, all right, we're just gonna go to the bathroom this match. And some people might love Athena. You know what I'm saying?
That was a good match.
But it's a hit and miss. I feel like it's a hit and miss with everyone's favorites and stuff. So they all have like different times when they can go. It's kind of like when you were fucking watching a punk festival and you have like fucking 40 different bands playing at the same exact time. And you're like, all right, well, this band I don't care for. Let me go.
Not a CM Punk festival, a festival of punk bands.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. No, I did that recently where I'm just like, I don't care who's playing right now. I need to be outside this venue for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But one match I heard some people kind of like, was Toni Storm versus Willow Nightingale, because they were so high on so many of the other matches. I think that was like, it's good, but it wasn't as exciting. I don't know. I personally really liked that match.
I didn't watch it, to be honest with you. But I will say that's 2 AEW people. So it's like, it doesn't really have to be in a Forbidden Door.
Well, technically, because Willow Nightingale is the New Japan Strong Champion, I think that's why they did it.
Okay. I can see that.
I liked it. I think Toni Storm is a great wrestler. I love the push that Willow's getting, and she's hot right now. So I think put her on the pay-per-view. I think people didn't give that match enough credit. I think it was cool. The one thing I would have liked in terms of like young hot talent, I would like to have seen the Acclaimed on here somewhere.
Yeah, they seem like
what they did
after they lost the belts. They kind of like in like limbo.
Yeah, they'll put them on Rampage maybe here and there, but
yeah. And it sucks because they still get the crowd going. So like,
they're great.
It's kind of weird to see them nowhere in sight now once they lost the belts. And you're like, well, they still get the crowd. So why would you not use them more?
Dude, if you had Adam Cole match canceled and you didn't want to replace him, put those guys out there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Have them do something silly.
They could just
Adam
do
Cole with them, and they could do some funny shit together.
They could just do their fucking rap shit in the beginning and just do a promo and then leave.
Yeah.
They
didn't have to do much. And I think Tony Khan is generally pretty good at that. Like, let's get some crowd pleasers in there. I think a lot of the reason there's so many, 4-man matches, 5-on-5s and all these, because he knows people pay money to see their favorite people, and he wants to give as many people their favorites as possible. Get as many wrestlers on the card as possible. And that makes sense sometimes. New Japan does the same thing. Sometimes it feels like there's a lot of throwaway matches in the beginning. I haven't watched New Japan in a long time, but it used to be like this, like a whole bunch of sort of throwaway matches at the beginning that are like these 4-on-4 matches, but they usually lead to stuff at some point. But I don't know. If I'm buying a ticket to see AEW, I want to see all my favorite guys, however they get them in there.
Yeah.
I want to see Orange. I want to see Danhausen. I don't care how they're in there. I want to see the Acclaimed.
The one thing that Tony Khan does good is, because I learned this from playing the game, is that you need a really good booking and a really good ending. Those two matches should be almost like 4 to 5 star matches, and the rest could be like 2 or 3 or whatever. But like the front and the end should always be the top.
Yeah.
And he does do that, because that's why you notice, like, every time he puts on a pay-per-view event or even a regular show, the first match is always like a really long match. And then like they're actually a little bit shorter throughout the things. And then the last match is always the longest as well. So he actually does do the whole formula of like what people, because you obviously want to start out hot just because of the crowd, and then you want to end hot so that the crowd ends up happy.
Yeah, I agree. And they started off with MJF, which I think was smart.
Yeah.
And Tanahashi, even though I had some criticisms about him, like he is a fan favorite and he has star power. So it made sense. The one big complaint everybody had, I'm being very, very critical about this, even though I did enjoy it, was did you see the Will Ospreay match?
Yes.
The Don Callis thing.
Okay.
The big complaint was that he got kicked out and then just came back. Like he never got kicked out and nothing happened. And the ref just let him show up again, hand Will Ospreay screwdriver, interfere in the match. And most people's big complaint was like, why did they kick him out if he was just going to come back with no repercussions? What was the point of kicking him out? Just don't kick him out in the first place. And I agree with that. But my biggest complaint is like, why did we need a fucking screwdriver?
Yeah.
I'm tired of screwdrivers. If you hit somebody in the face with a screwdriver, they are going to die. That's a hard one to suspend disbelief on.
Yes, or a lot worse than what they're looking like.
Yeah.
So, Moxley does it all the time too, though.
Yeah. But if you're watching, go ahead.
No, like I'm saying, so like I agree. Like when you have something like that, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's not like, dude, you're taking the realism out, even though we know it's not real and this and that, blah blah blah." Come on now.
That's stretching it a little too much.
Yeah,
to me.
It really is stretching.
And especially in a match with Omega versus Ospreay, like you want to see a great wrestling match.
Yeah.
You don't want to see these weird gimmicks
and because they already had that. They're two great wrestlers that doesn't need it. They have have the talent to not use that to still get over. So that's why it's kind of weird that they would do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're trying to do shit just to keep it going with a feud, because they seem to be a moneymaker with them too.
Yeah,
but
and the match was still great. I still loved it.
Yeah, it was still definitely a good match.
But that was like, I don't know. Too many bats, too many screwdrivers. I don't
you can't have too many screwdrivers. Oh, you mean the actual tool?
Yeah, well, I'm not a vodka person, you know.
Well, I don't know. I've been drinking and smoking all day today, so I don't know.
It's awesome.
but I honestly don't have much else to add to this, because you actually mentioned all the matches I've seen. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing did we miss out anything? Yeah, Sonata versus Jungle Boy was like, that's cool. Somebody had to go against Sonata. They had to I mean, I guess they didn't have to, but like, if they could get the New Japan champion, they should get him in there. In this case, it was Sonata. I haven't been watching for a long time, so it didn't feel like that big a deal to me, because I don't know Sonata as like a champion. I remember him as like, kind of a tag team guy.
Yeah.
When it was like LIJ is still LIJ. I don't know. But and then Jungle Boy didn't seem like a real legitimate threat, but the match was good, and they're both good wrestlers.
Yeah.
But I wasn't excited about that one. Do we talk about the BCC versus the Young Bucks, etc.?
Well, it does have Eddie Kingston in it.
Yeah,
but
that was
but,
okay.
I just want Eddie Kingston to get a belt.
Actually, I thought that was really good. And Moxley didn't bleed, I don't think, in this one.
No, and the crowd went up in unison of cheering when it was Moxley against Eddie Kingston when they were both in the ring. They all fucking just shot up. So that's going to be a match waiting to happen. Because it's just two people, because they know they're friends too. And fuck, man, Eddie Kingston just gets cheered no matter what he does. No matter what he does. So they blew it. He should have got the belt from fucking Claudio. I think they missed their mark on that one. I can't wait to see his promos when he's a champion.
I'm glad he's back in AEW.
Yeah. Even though they had that whole silly shit. Well, I quit. So
we got about that.
We're gonna pretend like that never happened because wrestling. But
yeah.
But other than that,
and Takeshita was awesome in that. Actually, I thought it was a good match. Takeshita was really good.
Yeah, it was a good match. Yeah, it was all decent matches. Definitely, there was some great matches, and there wasn't really any bad matches.
No, I mean,
and that's what I feel like. If Tony Khan does it right, this whole Forbidden Door thing is gonna make it where he's gonna be a real competitiveness of the wrestling world, where he's doing something that people didn't do. So if he could get people like Impact involved too, like if he could unify a lot of people and just do these type of things, everyone has their dream matches. It's going to be a win-win because this is all Tony Khan. So I give him credit for this. So the fact that he's doing this, it's huge for wrestling. Any wrestling fan should love the fact that this is happening.
And just the idea of it kind of, I think, is what attracted people to AEW in the first place. Mm-hmm. That we don't have to be in competition. Let's all work together. It's better for everybody. And it didn't feel as cutthroat and petty and all the things you think about when you think about, Vince McMahon in a negative way. And WWE, 3 years ago or however long ago, it was 3 years ago, right when AEW started and people were really souring on WWE. Where it's just a business. And this seems like they're doing it for the sake of wrestling and not just for the sake of, advancing their business.
Yeah.
And if they can get Impact and NWA in there and, as well as New Japan, I think that's awesome. AAA. I guess there's a problem there though, because New Japan works with CMLL.
Yeah.
AEW works with AAA, and CMLL and AAA don't get along. So maybe not those two. But
you never know. Hey,
whatever happened to the Chinese promotion? Do you remember that?
That's been,
when AEW first started, there was a promotion from China that they were working with, and they would bring guys over periodically, and that just stopped. I forgot about it until now.
But it's kind of hard. I feel like now with all the people around, because now you're fighting AEW seems to be the second one now, the second biggest, and it's kind of hard. Even the people oh, you're still second behind WWE. You're still the second biggest of the they're still doing shit that all these other companies couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? In 3 or 4 years. So I think now that with them two, and then now that they get involved with New Japan and you have Impact, well, it's kind of hard to start your own business because who the fuck is going to watch 20,000 hours of fucking wrestling?
Yeah.
No one, there's already too much fucking wrestling as it is. AEW has fucking 4 different shows that half of it you don't even want to watch. WWE has a fucking 7 hours of shit on a week, and you're so if you watch all of it, you're looking at 30 hours, and no one's going to no one. So you have to draw a line where okay, let's team up some of these people, and you know what I'm saying, because it's just too much. It's way too much. I'm so glad that AEW didn't do the whole fucking once a month pay-per-view event like WWE does.
Oh, that's right.
Motherfucker, that would be expensive because they still don't have that deal. And you're okay, I'm not paying $50-$60 every fucking month. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
One other thing, and this is the last criticism.
Okay.
As much as I love the idea of the Forbidden Door and bringing all these other people in, one thing that AEW could do better is like hyping up the people from the other promotions. A lot of times they'll just bring somebody in and assume you know who they are and what they're about.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Like Tanahashi versus MJF could have been a much bigger deal if they hyped up Tanahashi. Like I kind of downplayed it a little bit, but like his history is legitimate. He's considered the guy who saved New Japan when they were starting to tank, 15 years ago or something. And he's got all these championships and he's been around forever. Like put a little video package together that you really hype him up. And that match just feels a lot more important than it did.
Mm.
And I don't know why they don't do that more. They could do that with everybody.
But I wonder if they did that in New Japan though. I wonder if they're hyping him up in New Japan and then here they were just hyping up MJF because like I haven't really watched much of New Japan other than the pay-per-views and shit like that.
Right.
So maybe they were hyping up anyway. So this way here you have like both fans just looking forward to their number one guy or that guy or whatever.
Yeah, but you want to know about both guys. Like you said, you don't watch New Japan and know much about it. Like, wouldn't it be cool to know more? Wouldn't it feel more important if you knew how important Tanahashi was? If they hyped him up and put some dramatic music behind a bunch of clips of him and talked about his, all his accomplishments.
Yeah.
Didn't have to do much.
But again, I mean, this is the second one. So the fact that we actually see this, I'm still kind of like thrilled how it's still going on. So that's, even though I do agree, I feel like, well, this is the second one. So I feel like they will get better as they go. I do 100% think that they should go to Japan next one. I think that would be huge.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be huge for them. So I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see how it goes and like if they get more people involved and where, because I feel like the fans are liking it. The fans are definitely liking it from both sides. So yeah, you're getting some dream matches. Even the wrestlers are enjoying it because they're getting some dream matches.
Oh yeah,
they wanted a match. So and it's got to be always cool to sit there. It's like, oh, cool. I don't have to wrestle the same motherfucker I've been wrestling for fucking all year round. I could actually wrestle someone different now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think that's why you attract certain talent. Like somebody like Danielson knows if he comes to AEW, he has a lot more freedom than he did in WWE. He's not going to get the same number of views as he will in WWE. He's not going to fight in WrestleMania in front of, 80,000 people like he is in WWE. Well, I guess now with All In maybe, but like, for the most part, he's going to be bigger in WWE, but in AEW, he gets to do more. He gets to wrestle Okada, which is what somebody like him would love to do. He can work indie matches if he wants to. They can do so many more things. Somebody like Moxley can go to Japan and like Eddie Kingston gets to wrestle against all his like Japanese heroes and stuff. Like, and you have to appreciate that.
Yeah, let's not forget too, like people like Bryan and Moxley and all this other shit, they don't even have to wrestle anymore. I'm sure they're well set where they have separate things that they don't have. They're doing this now because they actually really enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to. They have so much other shit going on. And, Moxley fucking probably wears the same shirt that he wore for like 40 years. So like, it's not like he spends money. So, damn well he has probably, what I'm saying? He seems like the most down, like, I ain't spending shit. So, you know what I'm saying? So they don't even have to do all this stuff. So they're clearly doing this just because they love what they do. And they give them more open doors of doing other things. So 100% that I feel like that wrestlers even agree, that this is such a good step. So I hope it seems like it's going to be an annual thing now where every year they'll do it. Hopefully maybe they have like, we could put on another 38,000 show on the week and say, hey, now we have fucking Forbidden Door Tuesdays. And like they,
oh my God.
Because we need to add another 2 hours of fucking Tuesdays. We need another 2 hours of fucking wrestling added on to the 80-hour week that you try to watch every bullshit show.
But I do think it adds more appeal to it too for the fans' perspective, knowing that like the wrestlers are getting to do stuff that makes them happy. I
Yeah.
like the idea. I like AEW more because Bryan Danielson gets to have his dream match, because Eddie Kingston gets to have his dream matches, because people have freedom to work indies and dates with other promotions,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that. Do you have any last
Yes.
words? Because this went too fucking long and now we have to stop soon, so I have to cut it off.
Yes. So no,